Hey everyone, welcome to your Vinyasa practice. Today we will start out on our backs with our knees bent and our feet planted, like you were setting up for bridge pose, which we'll have a little bit of bridge pose in our practice. But before we do that, let's take our hands as you're lying down. Take our hands, one hand to the rib cage, one hand to the low belly. Soften your elbows out to the sides a little bit. Maybe roll your shoulders down your back, away from the ears. Check out the neck. Notice that the chin is jutting up towards the ceiling. Can you kind of just find a neutral position for the neck and the chin? You could take your feet wide on the mat and let your knees fall in towards one another. If you like, you can close your eyes. Start to settle into your body. Arrive into your practice with intention and on purpose. We'll take the first few moments of our practice to prioritize and notice the breath, which is the focus and the theme this month, the breath. Today we'll have a little bit different approach. So if you were with me last week, we had the ratio of 5 counts to inhale, 5 counts to exhale. Sanskrit, we call this samavriti, meaning same fluctuation. So the inhale matches the exhale. Ideally, we practice that enough so it becomes automatic and kind of is just something that happens as we move throughout our flow. And today I'd like to see if we can practice using the diaphragm to create that long inhale, that long exhale. So with your hands on your ribcage and your belly, can you start to breathe in, feel the breath move down into the ribcage, feel the belly fill up, and the hands start to feel the pressure of that air. Ribcage presses into the hands, belly presses into the hands. And then as you exhale, everything softens back into the back body, back into your yoga mat. Okay, so a few times on your own, breathing into the ribcage, into the belly. And long, complete exhale. Maybe you're counting your inhale and your exhale, 5 counts for each, just to see what that feels like for you and establish that rhythm. One more full breath cycle here. And then with our next breath, we'll take our arms down alongside the body, palms face the floor, walk your feet in towards the hips until they're about parallel, hip width distance apart. Press down into your feet with that big breath in, lift your hips up, and then stretch your arms up and overhead. And with that long exhale out, to release everything back to the mat, arms included. So again, 5 counts to inhale, 5 counts to exhale. Diaphragmatic breathing down into the rib cage, down into the belly. The inhale lifts the pelvis, stretches the arms overhead. And the exhale, everything slowly releases. Try not to rush that. Back to the mat. Continue moving in and out of your bridge pose with your breath. Twice more. And then as you're moving in and out of bridge pose, notice the feet. Can you grip the big toe mounds into the mat a little bit? Grip the toes into the mat. What I see often is people will roll to the outer edges of their feet, or most of the weight will be in the heels and the toes are just kind of this afterthought. So actively press down through your toes, especially the big toe mound. The next time you come back to the mat, let's hug the knees into the chest. Give yourself a little squeeze. The hands can wrap around the shin bones or around the knees, and you can rock side to side. And then however you like, we're gonna start to transition into a tabletop shape. We'll do a little bit of thoracic spine lengthening, and then we'll move on to our sun salutations. So in your tabletop shape, left wrist, stack it underneath that left shoulder, right fingertips right behind the ear, that right ear. Your inhale, you're gonna open that right elbow out to the side and maybe up towards the ceiling some. And the exhale, you're gonna take that right elbow and tap the left forearm. Okay, inhale, open up, same breath count, inhale for 5. And then exhale. So it should be relatively slow movement. We're gonna do this 3 more times on our right side. You might notice any sounds, snaps, cracks, pops. I did this morning before I started to record, and I definitely got some movement in my thoracic spine. It felt so good. Let's switch sides. Right palm plants underneath that right shoulder, and then left fingertips behind the left ear. Your breath in, left elbow opens out to the side, maybe a little bit up towards the ceiling. You could also look up if that feels okay on the neck. The exhale, lower nice and slow. Find that rhythmic breathing. Elbow taps the opposite forearm. Continue moving. Notice how it feels on this side. Keep it nice and slow. 3 more rounds on your own. See if you can take the breath in and out through the nose. And even if you need to like step away and blow your nose, you know, if you feel like you're stuffed up from all the smoke, if you're in the Pacific Northwest or anywhere really lately, there's a lot of smoke in the air for fire season. So feel free to blow your nose. See if you can clear your nasal passageway and find that nasal breathing. Let's step back to high plank. So left palm roots down, step both feet back into high plank. Engage your quadriceps, a little bit tuck your tailbone under and squeeze your glutes. Take a deep breath in, press the floor away with both palms. And then breath out, lift the hips up and back, find downward facing dog. And then take your hands a little bit wider, like what if you were to look at me right now, you'd see that my pinky fingers are off of my mat. My index fingers pointing straight forward. And so I have a wider stance with my hands. And that allows me to broaden across my upper back and press my chest towards my thighs. Let's take 3 deep breaths here. Nice and slow, in and out through the nose. 5 counts to inhale, 5 counts to exhale. Inhale again, come forward to high plank. And then we'll lower all the way down to the belly, with or without the knees, your choice. Shift forward onto the toes, lower down to the belly. We'll move through a few rounds of dynamic low cobra. So we'll walk those wrists back to the lower rib cage. Come to the tops of your feet, tuck your chin, rest your forehead. Squeeze your elbows close into the rib cage. Press into the hands and the feet. Inhale, lift the heart, lift the head. Exhale, nice and slow, lower. Forehead might tap the mat. That feels good for me because it lengthens out the back of my neck. And I remember to relax my shoulders. Twice more. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. You breathe in and out through your nose. The bottom of your next exhalation, tuck the toes under, engage your quadriceps. The legs are really tight. A little bit tuck your tailbone under so your low belly lifts away from the mat. Pressing into the hands. See if you can come up into high plank. From there, lift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Settle in, 3 breaths. All right, from our downward facing dog, lift the heels, bend the knees, step your way forward. Settle into your first forward fold. We're intentionally moving slow to start to let the breath guide the movement, to establish the pace with the breath guiding the way. And once we feel like we've got a handle on that, we'll start to add some rhythm in our sun salutations. Let's take one more full breath cycle here in your forward fold, Uttanasana in Sanskrit, Uttanasana. Relax your head. Now let's really root down through the feet. Fingertips walk up the shins. Inhale, lengthen the heart forward, straight through your spine, engage your core. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, this time we're gonna come all the way up to standing. Take that 5 counts to inhale all the way up to Tadasana, mountain pose, with the arms reaching up and overhead. And then exhale your hands to your heart. Pause here for a full breath, inhaling. Exhaling. One round of Surya Namaskar. That includes our lunges. Lead with the right side first. Inhale, arms reach out and up. Prioritize the breath in and out through the nose. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to your halfway lift. Exhale, you can come to your fingertips, stepping right foot back, right knee to the mat. Toes tucked or untucked, doesn't matter. Press into that left foot. Inhale, reach the arms overhead. Deep breath in. Breathe into the ribcage and the belly. And then breath out, plant the palms. Step right back into downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. 2 breaths here. In and out through the nose. Check in. Can you do that? Can you keep the inhale and the exhale regulated and equal in length? Pressing into both hands. Inhale, sweep that right leg up and back. Exhale, step the right foot forward. Left knee to the mat, toes untucked or top of the foot flat, doesn't matter. Inhale, arms reach forward and up. Breathing into the diaphragm and the rib cage here. And on your exhale, reach the fingertips forward towards the top of the mat. Step the left foot forward. Inhale to your halfway lift. Use your core here. Make sure you're engaged through the upper body. Exhale, forward fold. Root down through your feet, standing all the way up top of the mat. Reach up and overhead. Exhale, pause, hands to the heart. 1 full breath cycle. Second side, leading with the left leg. Inhale, sweep the arms out, reach up. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, use the core. Exhale, fingertips to the mat, left foot steps back. This time, maybe the left knee stays lifted and active. As you sweep your arms forward, you come up to a high lunge, perhaps. You can always let that left knee drop down. Either way, let's prioritize breathing into ribcage and belly here. Exhale, plant the palms, downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. One more full breath here. Root down through both your palms. Inhale, left leg sweeps up and back. Exhale, left foot steps forward. High or low lunge, Anjaneyasana, if you're curious what that is in Sanskrit. Anjaneyasana, high or low lunge, arms sweep up towards the ceiling. Deep breath into the rib cage, into the belly. Hands reach forward. Top of the mat, step that right foot forward. Inhale to your halfway lift. Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale to your forward fold, Uttanasana. Press down into your feet, include the toes in that grip. As you sweep the arms forward, come all the way up to standing. Exhale the hands to the heart. And we're gonna skip Surya Namaskar A and move right on to Surya Namaskar B, just to heat things up a little bit and test our breath, all right? Surya Namaskar B with some non-traditional elements. Inhale, arms sweep out and up. For those of you that are traditionalist, just so you know, I'm gonna add some things in here. Exhale, we're gonna take a Malasana squat. So we'll turn those toes out, take those feet a little bit wider, and sink the hips, maybe down below the knees, towards the backs of the heels. Malasana squat. Okay, so you don't have to get all the way down here. You could stay up in your squat a little bit higher. Just feel some sensation around the thighs, inner thighs, outer thighs, upper thighs. Notice where the weight is in the feet, what's happening to the toes. Take a full breath here. Okay, so our Malasana squat's taking the place of our chair pose today. We'll exhale and we're forward fold. So lift those hips up, straighten out through the legs, dive the upper body over the legs, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale and plant the palms, step back to high plank. See if you can take a moment here to set this up. And then I'll challenge you to lower for a count of 5 all the way to the belly. With or without the knees, start to lower. And then once you're on your belly, pressing up to low cobra or upward facing dog if you like. And then exhaling all the way back to that downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. 2 breaths here. And just in case if you're curious with traditional or classical Surya Namaskar B, there isn't this long break typically, but I like to settle into down dog and feel myself here. Okay. Now we're simply going to step this right foot forward between the hands, spin the left foot flat for warrior 1. I like to widen my right foot off to the right side, allows a little bit more space for my hips, and it makes it easier for me to turn my shoulders forward. Arms sweeping up and overhead, often interlace the hands to the webbing, extending the index fingers towards the ceiling, and then I'm pressing my biceps into the side of my head. Deep breath into the belly. Feel that expansion across the rib cage, deepen in that right knee. Release the arms if you had it, step back to high plank. See if you can take a prep breath in here, and then lower for that 5 count exhalation. Through Chaturanga. When you're ready, inhale, find your back bend. And then exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. 2 breaths. Traditionally, Surya Namaskar B is very, very heating. It's very athletic. So there's an increase of heart rate typically. But we are prioritizing the breath today, so I want to give you a moment to catch up. Find that inhale and exhale through the nose. And then we'll step the left foot forward. Left foot steps forward, right foot spins flat, shoulders turn forward. Left foot might widen out to the side. Arms can sweep up and overhead. Option to interlace the hands to the webbing. And then reach through the index fingers towards the ceiling. Biceps squeeze the side of the head. As you're breathing into the belly and rib cage here, deep bend in that left knee. And then release the hands if you had them. Step back to that high plank. Pause for a moment, find your breath in. 5 counts to lower through your exhale. So can you slow it down with control? When you're ready to inhale again, find that back bend that works for you. then up and back, downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Catch your breath here. Inhale, exhale through the nose. Long, deep belly breaths. Use the diaphragm. One more breath in our downward facing dog. From down dog, lift the heels, bend the knees. You can make your way forward to the top of the mat however you like. Inhale, find your halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. And from our forward fold this time, turn the toes out, widen the stance, Malasana. Bend the knees, sink the hips, Malasana. So come back to Malasana. Notice if it feels different. First round, second round, after we moved through our Surya Namaskar B, we added in our Warrior One. Typically that helps open the inner thighs, lengthen the hip flexors, quadricep muscles, hamstrings, all kinds of things that might have been tight before. Maybe this feels a little bit more accessible now. Let's take one more breath here. Now we're going to come into our forward fold again. Lift the hips up, straighten out through the legs, heel to the feet until they're parallel. Relax the head, let it hang heavy. Inhale, find your halfway lift. From your halfway lift, keep that. Press into your feet, include your toes, and stand up with a nice, strong, straight spine, arms sweep up and overhead. We're going to stay here in Tadasana and add on a few things for the thoracic spine. So first, what we're going to do is we're going to take our arms forward, cross the right wrist over the left wrist, palms will face one another, interlace the fingers, and then punch the knuckles forward, round the upper back, tuck the tailbone under, head can release between the biceps. Breathe into your upper back. And we're going to release the hands, but keep the body kind of as it is. It's like hunched over. And then take the hands behind the low back. Again, interlace them. See if you can punch the knuckles down towards the heel bones and then stand up. Even if your heels of your hands are like this, they're broken, that's okay. Or if you want to use a towel, great as well. Either way, see if you can get long through the spine. Deep breath in here. And then one more time, we'll release that. The arms are going to sweep forward. This time, left wrist on top of right wrist. Palms are facing one another. Fingers interlace. Punch the knuckles forward. Round the upper back. Tuck the tailbone. Head releases maybe between the biceps or towards the biceps. Deep breath into the back body here, upper back body. Keep that kind of hunched forward position as you release the arms, stretch them back. See if you can remember which thumb was on top. Interlace the fingers the opposite way if you can remember. And then stretch down through the knuckles, lift up through the chest. See if you can pull your arms towards straight. Big breath in here. Breathe into the ribcage, into the belly. Big breath out. All right, we're going to move through one more. Well, actually, we haven't really done a traditional sun salutation yet, so let's do it right now to get down to the ground. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the palms, high plank, move through your chaturanga, keep it slow. Find your back bend, maybe it's Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, that's your upward facing dog. And then find Adho Mukha Svanasana, that's your downward facing dog. So Adho downward facing or Adho Mukha downward facing. Urdhva Mukha upward facing. If you're still in downward facing dog with me, maybe take one more breath. And then let's all shift forward, hands and knees. And then we'll lengthen out onto the belly. We'll just do a little bit of rotation, a little bit more broadening across the chest to really get the breath moving down into the ribcage, into the belly today. So it's kind of like as if I were setting up for a Sphinx pose. I'm all the way down on my belly, my legs are lengthened out behind me. We've done this before. I've heard some teachers refer to this as broken wing with a twist. I don't really love any of the names, so I'm just gonna walk you through it. We're gonna take that right elbow out to the right side first. Okay, so I'm gonna look at my right hand. It's like above the top of my mat. So my right elbow is above my right shoulder. It's like I have a half goalpost shape. And then I'm looking now, I'm gonna turn my head and relax my right cheek to the mat, and I'm looking at my left fingertips. My left hand's like a little grasshopper wing. I'm gonna press into that left hand, roll to my right side. All my weight's on the right side of my head, right rib cage, right hip. Left leg can reach back behind you and the foot can plant, or the leg can just kind of stretch out in space. That top leg can stack on top of the bottom leg. I'm just giving you options here. You can explore. Now a little bit that right hand, the one that's in the goalpost shape, grip those fingertips into the mat like you're trying to claw your way forward with one hand. So stay active in that right side. See if you can feel that stretch in the chest tissue, not just the shoulder, but the chest tissue. Let's take one more breath here. Start to unwind out of this. Just take a moment in between sides. You can stack your hands underneath your forehead if you like. Maybe pick up the feet and sway them side to side. You can also just find stillness. Let's take one more breath here. And then left elbow out to the left side. So make sure, look at the left elbow in relationship to the shoulder. You want that elbow above the shoulder, not below, but above. Left fingertips are above the top of the mat. This is like a high goalpost shape, okay? Right hand is like a little grasshopper wing alongside my right rib cage. I'm gonna look at my right fingertips and rest the left side of my head on the mat. Press into the right hand, roll to the left side. So the majority of my weight now is on the left side of my head, left rib cage, left hip. And my right leg, it can explore. You can bend the knee, plant the foot, you can stack the legs. Deep belly breaths here. Grip the floor with your left fingertips. Stay active in that left hand. It's like you're trying to pull your way forward with your left hand. Let's take one more breath here. I don't know about you, but it always takes me a minute to settle into this one. It's so intense. So give yourself the time to breathe. Don't force it. Whew. All right, let's roll back onto the belly nice and slow. Take a moment here and center, rest your forehead. Breathe into the belly. If you're comfortable where you are, feel free to stay here for Shavasana. If you prefer to roll over onto your back for Shavasana or take the legs up the wall or end in a seated meditation, you know you have these options. I set as a timer for 1 minute. And we'll just take a minute to be silent, to listen to the breath, to breathe in and out through the nose. Take all the time you need in Shavasana. And when you're ready, if you're ready, you're gonna start to awaken the body, wiggle into the fingertips, the toes, move the head side to side. Give yourself a nice big stretch. Rolling off to a side and then just briefly coming to an upright seat. Take 3 breath cycles together. If you're still with me, inhaling through the nose, 5 counts. Exhaling through the nose, 5 counts. 2 more times, just keep counting your own breath. And then let go of any counting, let go of any active intention, and just let yourself breathe naturally. Feel like you can join me in closing your practice by bringing the hands together at the heart and bowing the chin into the chest. Taking a moment here to offer reverence and gratitude for the practice, for showing up, and to all of our teachers, past, present, future, and to the teacher within your own heart. Namaste. Such a pleasure to be here with you all. I wouldn't be able to do this without you, so thank you for showing up again and again. It makes this possible. And so I appreciate you. Take care of yourselves and come back again soon.